What if a Hollywood secret stayed buried for nearly 9 decades until the man at the center finally decided to speak? At 88 years old, Max Baer Jr. has chosen to break his silence and set the record straight about Irene Ryan, revealing a side of the story few ever heard. Long before the fame, the rumors, and the unanswered questions, Max Baer Jr. entered the world as Maximilian Adalbert Baer Jr., born on December 4, 1937, in the lively city of Oakland, Alameda County, California. He didn't just grow up around greatness, he was born into it. His father, Max Baer Sr., was more than a household name. He was a boxing legend who ruled the ring as the world heavyweight champion in 1934. Now, after a lifetime shaped by legacy, spotlight, and silence, Max Baer Jr. is finally telling his truth, one that reshapes how we see the past and forces us to question what we thought we knew all along. Max Baer Sr. was famous for his brutal punching power and his legendary win over Primo Carnera, and that fame didn't stop with him. It followed his son everywhere, bringing pressure, attention, and sky-high expectations. Growing up in the shadow of a larger-than-life father wasn't easy, and Max Baer Jr. felt it early. His father's strong presence shaped the household, but balance came from his mother, Mary Ellen Sullivan, who kept the family grounded in education, discipline, and kindness. Being the son of a sports legend meant Max grew up under constant public attention. Even so, he refused to live only off his last name. Instead, he worked hard to carve out his own identity, both in school and in sports. He attended Christian Brothers High School in Sacramento, a respected school known for pushing students academically while building character through athletics. While there, Max stood out in a big way. He earned varsity letters in 4 different sports at the same time, a rare achievement that showed his natural talent, strong work ethic, and competitive drive. His skills didn't stop on the field. On the golf course, he made waves by winning the Sacramento Open Junior Golf Tournament twice, proving he could excel in more than one arena. These early wins hinted at a future that would blend creativity, business sense, and athletic discipline. After high school, Max continued his education at Santa Clara University, a well-known Jesuit school in California. He earned a degree in business administration, gaining practical knowledge about management and finance. Alongside that, he minored in philosophy, showing a deep interest in life's bigger questions, human nature, and ethics. This mix of business and philosophy later became a powerful advantage, especially as he moved beyond acting into producing, directing, and building successful ventures in real estate and entertainment. Long before that success, however, Max stepped onto the stage for the first time. In 1949, in England, he made his stage debut at the Blackpool Pavilion in a production of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. That early performance gave him hands-on experience with live audiences and storytelling, quietly setting the stage for the career that would follow. By the time the 1960s arrived, Max finally stepped fully into the spotlight, officially beginning his professional acting career. This decade marked his rise as a familiar face on both television and the big screen. He landed a contract with Warner Brothers, one of the most powerful studios of that era, and his career quickly picked up speed. Almost immediately, Max began showing up in some of the most popular television shows of the time. His early television appearances included well-known series like Maverick in 1960, Surfside 6 from 1960 to 1961, Cheyenne between 1960 and 1961, and Hawaiian during the same period. He also appeared on 77 Sunset Strip between 1960 and 1961, followed by roles in Bronco in 1961, Sugarfoot in 1961, Follow the Sun in 1962, and It's a Man's World in 1962. Each role sharpened his acting skills while placing him inside the fast-moving world of television during what many consider the golden age of American TV. Although his television career was off to a strong start, Max Baer Jr. would ultimately be remembered most for one unforgettable role. In 1962, he was cast as Jethro Bodine on the legendary CBS series The Beverly Hillbillies, a role he played until 1971. Jethro, the innocent and not-so-bright relative of Jed Clampett, quickly became a fan favorite. The character perfectly captured the show's humor and its playful contrast between rural life and big city living. Max's portrayal of Jethro connected deeply with audiences for nearly 10 years, turning him into a household name. However, that same success came with a downside. Being so closely linked to Jethro led to typecasting, a challenge that followed him throughout the rest of his acting career. While The Beverly Hillbillies was still at its peak, Max continued taking on other television roles, including appearances on Love American Style from 1969 to 1974 and Vacation Playhouse in the same period. At the same time, he expanded into film, landing the role of Sergeant Luther Liskell in the 1967 war movie A Time for Killing. Even so, the shadow of Jethro Bodine made it difficult for him to secure a wide range of acting roles. This is a struggle many actors face when a single character becomes larger than their entire career. Rather than letting that limit him, Max made a bold move. He began shifting his attention behind the camera, focusing on producing, directing, and writing. This change gave him more creative freedom and opened new doors within the entertainment industry. In 1974, he took a major step forward by making his debut as a producer and screenwriter with the film Macon County Line. The gritty Southern drama also featured Max in the starring role as Deputy Reed Morgan. The film was a surprise success, earning both strong box office results and positive critical response for its tense and gripping story. With that project, Max Baer Jr. proved he was more than just a sitcom star. He had the talent and vision to succeed as a filmmaker in his own right. In 1975, Max Baer Jr. took a bold step forward by taking full control of a project of his own. He produced, wrote, and directed The Wild McCullochs, while also playing Culver Robinson in a heartfelt family drama that proved he could shine both behind the camera and on screen. Riding that wave of success, he followed up in 1976 with Ode to Billie Joe, a film inspired by the famous song that captured audiences nationwide. The movie became a major box office hit and firmly established Max as a filmmaker who knew how to turn popular culture into cinematic gold. His final time in the director's chair came with Hometown USA in 1979, signaling the close of his main chapter as a filmmaker. Beyond Hollywood, Max showed he was just as sharp in business as he was in entertainment. He expanded into real estate and the casino industry, carefully building wealth outside acting. Over the years, he also dreamed big about creating a full Beverly Hillbillies empire. This vision reportedly included turning Jethro's Beverly Hills mansion into a real attraction and launching a chain of casinos inspired by the Clampett's world. By blending nostalgia with smart business ideas, Max aimed to keep the legacy of the show alive in new and profitable ways. He's said to have secured rights to use names, likenesses, and other elements from the series, with plans to transform the beloved TV classic into a wide-reaching commercial brand. While his career drew admiration, Max Baer Jr.'s personal life often sparked public curiosity as well. His relationships attracted attention not only because of his television fame, but also because he was the son of boxing legend Max Baer Sr. Even so, Max generally kept his private life out of the spotlight. Still, a few important relationships became part of the public story that followed him beyond Hollywood. In 1966, at the peak of his success on the Beverly Hillbillies, Max married Joanne Kathleen Hill. At the time, his portrayal of the lovable Jethro Bodine had made him a household name across America. However, fame came with pressure. Long work hours, constant travel, and life under public scrutiny reportedly put strain on the marriage. Like many young couples facing the weight of celebrity, they struggled to keep things together. After 5 years of marriage, the relationship came to an end, and the couple divorced in 1971, closing one chapter of Max Baer Jr.'s life as he moved forward into new personal and professional paths. The breakup became a major turning point in his personal life. It happened at the same time he was trying to reinvent himself professionally after being tied for years to one unforgettable role. Once the marriage ended, Baer never walked down the aisle again. Still, his love life remained in the spotlight as he was linked to several famous women over the years. One of the most talked about relationships was with Victoria Principal. She was not just a successful actress, but also a businesswoman and author, widely known for her role on the hit TV show Dallas. Because both of them were well-known figures with strong careers, their relationship quickly caught the attention of the media. Baer was also rumored to have dated model Cherie Rhodes, adding to his image as someone often connected to glamorous, high-profile romances during that time. Years later, his relationship with Victoria Principal became controversial. In 2005, Principal publicly claimed that Baer had assaulted her while they were dating. The accusation brought Baer back into the public eye decades after his television fame had faded and sparked widespread discussion about their past. Baer strongly denied the claim, stating that it was completely false. No criminal conviction followed, and he consistently rejected any suggestion that he had acted violently. This situation highlighted how complicated relationships can become when they play out under public scrutiny, especially when people remember the same events very differently. For Baer, the controversy clashed sharply with the cheerful, comedic image audiences had known for years. It also helped explain why he later chose a quieter life, gradually stepping away from Hollywood to focus on business ventures, investments, and life outside the entertainment world. Now at 88 years old, Max Baer Jr. has reached a stage in life where reflection comes more easily than silence. To generations of fans, he will always be Jethro Bodine from the Beverly Hillbillies. Yet that same role that brought him fame also placed limits on how the world saw him. In his later years, Baer has spoken with rare honesty about one of the most important people in his career, actress Irene Ryan, who played Granny and became one of television's most unforgettable characters. But off-screen, Irene Ryan was nothing like the gentle old woman viewers believed they knew. Baer describes her as sharp-minded, demanding, and tougher than almost anyone he had ever met. He first crossed paths with her when he was still a young actor, green, unsure, and walking onto a set filled with seasoned professionals. By then, Ryan was already a true veteran. With years in vaudeville, radio, and film behind her, she carried herself with the calm confidence of someone who had survived every chapter of show business. She had seen the highs, the lows, and everything in between, and she never wasted time on pretenses. At the beginning, Baer admits she scared him. He was young, and she could read him instantly. She knew the difference between real acting and putting on a front. But over time, he came to see that her toughness had a purpose. Ryan taught him lessons that couldn't be found in any acting class: how to be professional, how to prepare, and how to survive in Hollywood. She demanded focus and respect for the craft. There were no shortcuts with her. If you were careless, she noticed. If you were committed, she honored that. Behind the stern image, though, Baer says there was a softer side few people ever witnessed. When the cameras stopped rolling and the set grew quiet, she could be surprisingly warm. She had a dry, sharp sense of humor and loved sharing stories from her vaudeville days, stories so vivid they left a lasting impression. Ryan's strength, he explains, came from a hard life. Long before the Beverly Hillbillies made her famous later in life, she had faced personal struggles, failed marriages, and financial uncertainty. Success meant more to her because she knew how easily it could disappear. Baer also speaks honestly about the rumors of tension on set. Yes, there were moments of friction, he admits. Strong personalities naturally create sparks. Ryan was fiercely protective of her role and of the show itself. She understood that Granny was not just there for laughs, she was the heart that held the family together. Looking back, Baer confesses he once underestimated her instincts. With time, he realized she was almost always right. That realization only deepened his respect for her resilience. She worked until the very end, never slowing down even as her health failed. To her, the audience always deserved your best, no matter what you were going through. Her death in 1971, not long after the show ended, hit him hard. It felt like more than the loss of a co-star. It felt like the close of an entire era. Now, reflecting without anger or nostalgia, Baer speaks with clarity. Irene Ryan helped shape him as an actor and as a professional. She challenged him, intimidated him, and ultimately taught him how to last. He believes people remember the laughter she brought, but often forget the strength it took to create it. At 88, Baer isn't interested in myths or romantic memories, only in the truth behind the woman who left such a lasting mark. The reality is simple. Irene Ryan was a fighter. According to him, every laugh she earned came from grit, skill, and years of perseverance. By finally speaking that truth, Max Baer Jr. didn't just set the record straight, he paid tribute to a legendary co-star and to a woman whose strength and talent carved her name permanently into television history. Beyond that legacy, Max also shared a bond that time never weakened. His friendship with Buddy Ebsen stretched across decades, built not only on their shared success on the Beverly Hillbillies, but on real affection and deep respect. Buddy wasn't just someone he worked beside on set, he was a mentor, a steady guide, and a trusted friend whose wisdom shaped both his career and his life. That connection never faded. In one of the most touching moments of his life, Max, alongside Donna Douglas, visited Buddy in the hospital shortly before his death, offering comfort, laughter, and companionship when it mattered most. When Buddy Ebsen passed away from pneumonia on July 6, 2003, the world lost a television icon, but Max lost something far more personal, a friend whose influence reached well beyond the camera. Time, however, continued to close chapters. With Donna Douglas's passing in 2015, another beloved piece of television history quietly slipped into memory. Her death left Max as the last surviving regular cast member of the Beverly Hillbillies, an honor that carried both pride and quiet sorrow. As the final living connection to the show's original cast, he became a bridge to a different era of television, one filled with warmth, simplicity, and characters that felt like family to millions. Standing alone with those memories, he remains the last witness to the friendships, laughter, and shared moments that once united audiences everywhere. And in holding on to those stories, he ensures that the spirit of the show and the people who made it unforgettable will never truly fade away.